Hey, good morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panage. Good morning. It's about 8 a.m. Taking a quick look at what's going on this morning across the southeast. We've got some pretty mild temperatures here in the Carolinas. We had clear skies to the east, which helped produce quite a bit of dense fog in and around Raleigh, down through Fayetteville, then heading over towards the Wilmington area. In and around Charlotte, we do have some low clouds right now, but not as much fog. But temperatures are much warmer back here over the Charlotte area. In fact, when you start looking at some of the temperatures across the area, we're much warmer in the western part of the state than the eastern part of the state. Let me show you what that looks like. You can see the cool air up here in northeastern North Carolina in the blues. Those are temperatures that are still in the 40s, but back towards the west, you see a lot of 50s and even the 60s increasing from the south and west. You see the storm system sitting to our south and west, and as you look at the dew point temperatures, notice the moisture which is building up from the south. When you're in these blue areas, the dew points are much lower. They're in the 40s and 30s. That's not conducive for thunderstorms. But when you look off the Carolina coast, you see this big plume of moisture. There are dew points out here in the 60s, and that's a little bit of a concern for eastern North Carolina, which I'll get into more in a moment. But you see the big plume of moisture, the 40 and 50 and 60-degree dew points, which have shot well up into the mid-south, and that's why we have that severe weather threat back in that direction. The concern is going to be into tonight that this system that you currently see over parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, now moving into Alabama, could cause some severe weather as it moves to the east. We'll look at the SPC outlook for tonight. You can see the yellow area. That's the slight risk for severe storms. That does extend up into eastern North Carolina and does include parts of Lancaster, Chesterfield, Union, Anson, and Richmond counties. When you look at the tornado threat tonight, this is the probability of tornadoes. You see the green area, that's a 2% risk of a tornado, and the yellow area is a 5% risk. So you see western North Carolina may escape because of some cooler and drier air, but because of that moisture I just showed you off the coast, remember that? Let me show you that again to kind of refresh you. This moisture is going to creep in here to the coastal plain, and that's going to be an issue going into tonight, that we could see some strong storms. Wind threat, still a high wind threat for many areas from Charlotte east. The hail threat's a little bit lower. It's back here as you look over the upper level low. So let's take a look at some of the model data quickly to kind of show you what's going on. I like looking at the NAM4 model, which is a high resolution model we use here in the Carolinas, and most of the Southeast seems to be working pretty well. This is future radar. We'll start at about 8 a.m. this morning. That's what it looks like as we go out into the afternoon hours. We'll go out until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the big line of thunderstorms that develops pretty quickly to our west. As we go out into the evening hours, we'll head out to about 5 o'clock this evening. You can see the squall line is taking shape pretty well and moving to the east. We'll take a look and see what kind of shear we have ahead of this, and there is going to be some pretty good shear in the upstate of South Carolina into northeast Georgia, but really not that bad here over the Carolinas. Let's go out a little bit later into the evening hours. We'll go till 8 o'clock this evening. You can see a few showers trying to develop ahead of the main line, but the main action is still right along that line there. Let's go to about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tonight. One thing that looks interesting is a couple cells that develop out here. We'll have to watch that trend into the evening hours. And then we go into the early morning hours. Now we're getting back into about 4 o'clock in the morning or so. You can see the line progressing to the east. It looks like it tries to break up a little bit as it moves into eastern North Carolina, and then we progress through the morning hours, and now we're at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and the main line is to the east. So a threat we're going to watch is going to be eastern North Carolina as this system approaches from the south and the west. There it is right now. Tornado watch is over parts of southeast Louisiana, and even a warning down there in lower Plaquemines, and then tornado watch is out towards the Florida Panhandle. Of course, I'll keep you up to date throughout the afternoon on Facebook and Twitter. I included some maps on this blog of the threat. And of course, if anything changes, I'll let you know as we go into the afternoon. I'll see you today starting at 4 on News Channel 36.